Nearly 100 people are dead and hundreds more missing after flash flooding in Nepal. And so the floodwaters washed away villages, leaving a path of destruction. Michael Yoshida is following the race to find survivors.
A deadly flash flood tears through villages in Nepal. Video showing floodwaters crashing through villages, leaving destruction in their wake.
We don't have a clear data on how much losses we have got, but the reality is that there is a big devastation.
A helicopter pilot who saw the flood estimated the waves reached 16 to 20 feet high.
Nepal already deployed all their maximum number of the doctors. They activated all the health center nearby.
Search and rescue operations were underway Wednesday morning. Nepal's tourism board said hundreds, including foreign nationals, were missing. Rescuers are still trying to assess the full scale of the damage. One Nepal Red Cross official described widespread destruction along the riverbanks.
This is really devastating. There are many bridges has been swept away.
Areas across the border in Tibet were also hit, where Chinese leader Xi Jinping ordered all-out search efforts, and state media warned of major casualties. The exact cause of the flooding is still unclear, but early reports suggest an avalanche of ice and rock blocked a nearby river before sending a sudden surge of water downstream. An earthquake was also reported in the area around the same time.
Obviously, this kind of disaster, we certainly need the support from our neighbor and from the international community.
For now, families wait for answers as rescuers push into damaged and hard-to-reach areas. I'm Michael Yoshida reporting.